Let's jump right into this explainer. Have you ever really thought about castles? I mean, picture it. Massive stone walls, heavy wooden doors, and guards constantly patrolling the gates. But why all the security? Well, because deep inside there's a treasure vault protecting something unbelievably valuable. And today, we're looking at a devotional that actually treats your very own life and your heart exactly like that, like an ultra-valuable treasure vault. And just like a mighty castle, your heart absolutely needs protection.
So I've got to ask you directly, what is the most valuable thing you own right now? Is it like your favorite video game console, a brand new bike, or maybe a super cool collection you've been putting together for years? Now those things are awesome, for sure, but the devotional we're looking at today says something kind of different. It tells us that your life, your mind, and your soul are literally your ultimate treasures. They're worth way more than any object on the planet.
All right, Section 1, Guarding Your Greatest Treasure, the Gates to Your Heart.
You see, a truly great treasure needs incredibly strong walls and really careful guards to make sure absolutely nothing bad sneaks inside. Now, the devotional uses a bit of an old-fashioned phrase for this. It talks about being careful where we bestow our affections. Now, since you're 10, I'm guessing you don't walk around saying bestow every day. But really, it simply means choosing who you love, who you care about the most, and who you actually give your heart to. Think of it like deciding who gets a VIP backstage pass to your inner circle of friends. You are the head guard at the gate of your own heart, and you get to decide who comes in.
But wait, why do you need to be such a strict guard in the first place? Well, because of what the text says right here. Remember that your life belongs to Jesus and that you are not to live for yourself alone. So this treasure inside you doesn't just belong to you. According to the devotional, it belongs to Jesus, and that makes it incredibly special. It's exactly why it needs top-tier protection from anything that might tarnish or damage it.
Moving on to Section 2, the unequally yoked warning, pulling in opposite directions.
The text actually gives us a really strong warning about who we decide to tie ourselves to, and that means your closest best friends right now, or even who you might marry way down the road when you're older. It quotes a pretty famous verse from the Bible, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. It says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness?" Just listen to those intense, contrasting words. Righteousness and unrighteousness. Light and darkness. The author is clearly painting a picture of total, complete opposites.
And honestly, that brilliantly illustrates this whole idea of being unequally yoked. Picture this. Imagine two massive, strong farm animals, like oxen. They're tied together with this heavy wooden collar, called a yoke, so they can work as a team and pull a heavy cart. Now imagine one ox decides he wants to go left, but the other ox is determined to go right. What happens? Well, they're just going to pull in completely opposite directions, and that cart is going absolutely nowhere. The devotional uses this image to explain why teaming up with someone who doesn't share your love for God makes moving forward in your faith pretty much impossible.
Just look at how the devotional clearly divides these influences. Over on one side, you've got righteousness and light, and on the flip side, unrighteousness and darkness. It's showing us, point blank, that light and darkness simply cannot be on the same team. If you open the gates of your heart to someone who's walking in darkness, it's literally like throwing open a window in a cozy, warm house during a freezing winter blizzard. That freezing cold is going to rush right in, no question.
Okay, Section 3, spotting bad influences. Red flags at the castle gates.
So you might be wondering, how do we actually know who to keep out of our castle? Well, the text explicitly gives us a list of behaviors to shun, which basically means to totally avoid, in the people we hang out with. Let's look at them. First, irreverent behavior, which just means being super disrespectful. Then, a lover of idleness. That's a fancy way of saying someone who is always lazy and refuses to do their fair share. Next is scoffing or making fun of holy things. Using profane language, so bad words. Being addicted to liquor. And finally, having no realization of their responsibility to God. If you see someone waving these red flags, the devotional is saying, hey, don't let them past your gates.
Now hold on a second. Does this mean your friends have to be absolutely perfect all the time? No way, not at all. The devotional makes a really great fair point here. It says, we may always bear with a friend's infirmities and with his ignorance, but never with his vices. In everyday language, it's totally okay if a friend makes a mistake or if they just don't know something yet. That's just ignorance, and we can totally be patient with that. But a vice? That's a bad, harmful, mean habit, and the text says we should never ever accept or join in on those kinds of harmful behaviors.
Next up, Section 4, choosing the right team, the courage to cut loose.
You know, as you grow up, choosing your friends actually takes a lot of bravery. And the devotional totally gets that. It understands that it is super tough to let go of friends who might be really fun or pleasing to be around, but who just don't love God. It's hard, but it also says that knowing the pure truth gives you the bravery and the courage you need to just cut loose from those ties. When you truly realize how incredibly valuable your heart is, you get the strength to protect it, even if that means having to walk away from the popular crowd.
And the source really emphasizes that the stakes are high here, especially as you get older and start thinking about big things, like marriage. It says, should you consent to unite your life with that of an unbeliever, you would be disregarding the word of God and imperiling your soul. Now, imperiling is a big word, but it just means putting something in extreme danger. Choosing to partner your whole life with someone who doesn't share your faith isn't just a tiny, minor mistake. According to the text, it actually puts your most precious treasure, your soul, in real danger.
And that brings us to Section 5, Christ as your counselor, planning for the future.
So, if we want to plan for a safe, God-honoring future, the text gives us this fantastic, structured formula for building safe friendships and eventually a safe marriage. Step 1. Keep things characterized by modesty, simplicity, and sincerity. Basically, just be genuine and humble. Step 2. Have an earnest, serious purpose to please God in everything you do. And Step 3. Make Christ your counselor. Study His Word and pray about it. The text reminds us that a sincere Christian makes zero plans that God can't approve of. If you go to Jesus for advice first, your castle gates are going to be super secure.
Now listen closely to this part because the devotional has a really powerful message directly for you about your own worth. It says, your life is too precious a thing to be treated as of little worth. Calvary testifies to you the value of your soul. Calvary is the place where Jesus gave His life. The text is telling you that the ultimate, highest price was paid just for you. And that is exactly why your heart is such a treasure. You are entirely too precious to let bad influences sneak past your gates.
All right, so we've taken a look at the treasure vault, we've identified the red flags, and we know exactly how much your soul is worth. I want to leave you with this one final challenge to really think about as you head off to school, hang out with your friends, and make your everyday choices. Are you ready? Here it is. How will you guard the gates of your heart today?
Keep that treasure safe.